Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Eala challenges yet another top seed in American Baptiste, in hopes of making a strong final push in preparation for the 2025 Wimbledon Classic. Eala will face her second test against the top seed in the qualifying list, American Baptiste of the US. The 20-year-old Filipino, currently ranked No. 77 in the world, is set to take on a tough challenge against world No. 56 Baptiste, who is coming off a 7-5, 6-3 win over China's Yu Yuan. Eala, for her part, opened her WTA 250 Eastbourne qualifying campaign with a dominant win over Turkey's Zeynep Sons last Saturday night, 6-1, 6-3. This marks her fourth grass court tournament this season, following appearances at the Birmingham Classic, Ilkley Open, and Nottingham Open earlier this month. Eala makes it to entry list of Wimbledon, while the official draw list for Wimbledon has yet to be released. Eala is included in the entry list, published on its official website. Seeded 8th in the qualifiers, Eala will face the American on Sunday night at 6:00 p.m. The roar of the crowd at the Miami Open echoed like ocean waves breaking on a sunlit shore. Palms swayed under the heat, fans waved flags and wore painted smiles, and the scent of sunscreen mixed with tension in the air. On Court 3, the spotlight wasn't on Serena or Coco. It was on two rising stars, players still etching their names into the clay and hard courts of history. Eala stood on one side of the net, her dark hair pulled into a determined ponytail, visor low, lips set like stone. Across from her, the American crowd favorite, American Baptiste. A powerhouse in her own right, Baptiste had thundered through the early rounds, demolishing opponents with a punishing serve and confident ground strokes. She had the experience, the crowd, and the ranking. But Eala had something else, a point to prove. Eala, the young Filipina sensation, had been here before. Not this exact match, not this exact moment, but on this tightrope between the rising tide of greatness and the undertow of pressure. She had faced other top seeds, lost some, won a few. But this time, she felt different. Her shots felt crisper, her body lighter, her heart heavier with purpose. Her rise had not been paved by privilege or media hype. It had been a grind, a globe-trotting journey from junior slams to ITF tournaments, often in cities where no one pronounced her name right, where she played without a coach, sometimes without family in the stands, but she carried her roots like armor. Every time she stepped onto the court, it was for more than herself. It was for the Philippines, for young girls with dreams as big as stadiums and wallets as light as shuttlecocks. The match began with a thud of Baptiste's serve minus 122 miles per hour, down the tee, an ace. Love 15, the umpire called. The crowd erupted. "Let's go, Haley." Eala nodded, eyes calm. She had studied Baptiste's serve, that flat motion, barely telegraphed. She adjusted her stance. Next point, a rally. Baptiste tried to dictate early, but Eala's footwork was electric, her defense cagey. A backhand down the line winner brought gasps. 15 all. Eala didn't celebrate. No fist pump. Just walked to the baseline and prepared again. By the end of the first set, it was 6-4 to Baptiste. The American's power proved too much, her angles too acute. But Eala was learning, adapting. Between sets, her coach whispered advice in Tagalog, laced with urgency. "Wag mong sabayan ang pace naya, gamit in moang drop, kunin moang rhythm niya." Don't match her pace. Use the drop shot. Disrupt her rhythm. The second set began with a surprise. Eala mixed slices and topspin lobs, dragging Baptiste into unfamiliar territory. The American, used to slugfests, began missing. Game after game, the tide turned. 5-3, Eala serving for the set. The Filipino crowd, small but vocal, began chanting. The sound of "Eala, Eala" pierced the humid air. A flag waved, sun and stars glinting. Match point. A long rally minus 24 shots. Baptiste smashes a forehand crosscourt. Eala lunges, barely makes contact, but the ball skims the net and drops dead on the other side. A miracle shot. Set Eala, 6-3. The third set was war. Baptiste came back hard, channeling fury and grit. She held serve, broke Eala early, and led 3-1. But Eala didn't blink. She started drawing errors, shifting gears between aggression and finesse. A marathon game at 3-4 saw Eala save 4 break points. The momentum swerved. At 5-5, the crowd quieted. Everyone leaned in. In that moment, tennis became more than sport. It became story. 2 young women, one from Washington, D.C., another from Manila, fighting not just each other, but gravity, doubt, and expectation. Eala held serve. 6-5. Now Baptiste had to serve to stay in the match. First point, double fault. The wind shifted. Second point, rally and a deft Eala drop shot. Winner. Love 30. Third point, a rare shaky forehand from Baptiste. Long. Love 40. 3 match points. Eala bounced the ball, eyes closed briefly. She inhaled. Then, on the return, she stepped in, took it early, and smacked a forehand down the line. Winner. Game. Set. Match. Alex Eala. The stadium was stunned, then erupted into a kind of awed applause. Baptiste walked to the net, face tight with frustration, but grace in her handshake. Nice match, she muttered. Eala nodded. You too. That was tough. The 2 young stars stood under the Florida sun, sweat pouring down, both knowing they were part of something bigger than just this match. Later, in the press room, a reporter asked Eala, "You've now beaten another top-seeded American. What's driving you?" Eala looked thoughtful. "Every time I play, I'm not just playing for myself. I know there are kids back home who dream about being on this stage. I'm trying to open that door a little wider." Another reporter asked, "Are you aiming for the top 50 this year?" Eala smiled. "I'm aiming for my best. Whatever number that becomes, I'll take it." In the locker room, Baptiste sat alone, towel around her shoulders, headphones in. Her coach came over. "You okay?" Baptiste nodded slowly. "She's legit." The coach smiled. "That's what makes tennis special. The story's never over." As the sun dipped behind the Miami skyline, casting long shadows across the courts, a new chapter in tennis had been written. It didn't scream headlines or break records, but it whispered something powerful. A new challenger has arrived, and she isn't done yet. Epilogue. The Rising Flame. In a year filled with rising stars and returning champions, Alex Eala's win over Hailey Baptiste wouldn't break Twitter or lead ESPN. But to many, especially in Southeast Asia, it was thunder. It was a sign that tennis greatness can rise from any corner of the world. That with grit, strategy, and relentless courage, anyone can challenge the top seeds. And sometimes, the challenger wins, not because the world expected her to, but because she never stopped believing she could. The sun over New York was merciless, baking the hard court in a haze that shimmered like tension itself. The crowd murmured, rippling with anticipation. They hadn't expected this matchup in the third round. Alexandra Eala, the young Filipina phenom, versus Alicia Baptiste, the top-seeded American favorite. Eala stood near the baseline, bouncing a ball in her hand. She looked calm, even serene, but inside, her mind moved like a metronome on overdrive. You've been here before. You've beaten seeds before, but never won this high. Alicia Baptiste, clad in dark blue with electric green shoes, twirled her racket with a swagger only earned through a season of domination. She hadn't dropped a set in 5 tournaments. She hadn't been challenged, until now. Eala had clawed through qualifying, surviving a 3-hour duel just to reach the main draw. She didn't have the polish or entourage of a top seed. What she had was heart, history, and the weight of a nation watching. Flashback. Manila. 10 years earlier. A little girl watched a grainy livestream on her father's cracked tablet. The screen showed a young Asian woman losing in straight sets to Serena Williams. But the girl wasn't disappointed. "She was there," Alex whispered. "She made it." Her father looked at her. "You will too. And when you're there, you won't just play them. You'll beat them." Back to match day. The umpire's voice sliced through the humid air. Time. Eala walked to the baseline. Baptiste chose to receive. Fine by her. First serve. Alex tossed the ball high, arched, and unleashed her left-handed whip of a serve. Ace out wide. 15-0. Cheers erupted from a pocket of Filipino fans wrapped in flags, voices loud enough to echo down the 7 train platform blocks away. They didn't care about the rankings. To them, this was David versus Goliath, and they had brought slingshots of hope. The first game went quickly, then the second. 1-1. Eala kept her head down. She'd learned that focus was her greatest asset. Baptiste, for all of her power, was impatient. She punished wheat balls, but she rushed, and Alex had a plan.